4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to In the Mix Africa. You are joined by your host Ashwyn Betty, and as you can see, I've been having quite the week. My team won in the UEFA Champions League, but of course we're all about Africa, which is why I've got Marco Ndlovu in studio as we talk about African stars on their way to Cape Town to face Uganda's Vipers. We're also going to talk about the EPL and of course the state of Namibian football in general. This is In the Mix Africa, where we keep you clued in on everything happening with regards to African football, at least everything that we think you find interesting. And of course, we love to cook. We love to do some cooking. And today we've got a special chef all the way from our What's Cooking show. Kariiue is here to make sure that she gives us the spice, the curry, and the burgers. This is In the Mix Africa, the best place to be. As promised, we are joined by Marco Ndlovu, a sports journalist practicing in Namibia. He's been in the biz for a long time, and he's going to be giving us some information that we'd certainly like to get, especially with regards to African stars and football in general. Mr. Ndlovu, how are you, sir?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
Good evening, the entire day.
The entire day. Thanks for having me once again.
No, thank you for joining us, sir. Thank you for joining us. Before we start talking about, African stars and all of that, how long have you been a sports journalist?
For the past 17 years.
Wow.
I've been doing sports journalism for the past 17 years. Started off on radio, then went on to print, went on to TV. Now I'm doing podcasting. So
all right.
I think I've done most of it. Not everything, but most of it.
Yeah. That's very interesting because I felt a little triggered when you said 17 years because it means your entire career as a sports journalist, you have not seen Arsenal lift the English Premier League. But it's fine, it's okay. We can move on and talk about other things. Let's talk about African stars. African stars are set to face the Vipers of Uganda in Cape Town. What's the importance of this CAF championship?
It's a very important match for African stars because that has been their target. Their target is to go on to the group stages of the African Champions League. And they've been trying, I think for the past 5 years, they're the only club from Namibia that has been trying to do that. And in terms of consistency, they are the only team that has been consistently, going out there, spending so much money in trying to get into the group stages. They are facing Vipers from Uganda. It won't be the first time they face a team from Uganda. Okay. This will be the second time. They did face, I think it's a UCC from Uganda. I stand to be corrected on the name. They faced them, I think it was about 6-7 years ago. They drew 2-2 here, and then they went on to lose 1-0 in Uganda. Okay. They're an experienced side. They've really bought a lot of players. If you look at what they've done now, I think they brought in about 15 or 16 players.
I was going to ask about that. They gave out a couple of short loans, you know what I mean? How does that concept even work?
Well, you see, the transfer windows in Namibia are not as strict as in the other countries because of the way our league is structured. Like now, most of the leagues are up and running. The ones that begin in July, August. Ours, we are way into September and it hasn't started. It will probably start in November. So somewhere around November, there will be a transfer window there for Namibian teams. So all they did was they went and asked local teams to get experienced players because they also lost a lot of players and they need to replace those players. And they also need depth in the squad. Yes. And also, I think it's good for Namibian football to give the local players African experience, international experience, so that you can actually, it can help the national team. Right. The more players play competitive football outside Namibia, the more better they become, and it's easy for the national team, even for the national team coach, to actually select the national team. Right. So it's very important that they get players, local players, instead of just relying on foreigners. Yes. They would rather rely on local players who will then improve the local football.
All right. Now, you mentioned something there which is a little alarming, but we have to talk about it. Do we actually know when the Premier League is going to start?
At the moment, there was a letter that was circulating yesterday coming from the NFA. It was supposed to begin on the 1st of September, but unfortunately, due to lack of sponsorship, they are no longer going to start in September. It's now postponed indefinitely. They are negotiating. I think there should be an announcement coming through. One of the local companies might come on board. My sources have told me that somebody has decided to come on board and sponsor sort of a tournament, a mini tournament before the actual season starts. While they are busy negotiating for the long-term sponsorship of the league, they will have sort of a tournament for the top flight teams and the first division teams, just to keep them busy, just to make sure that the clubs also get a bit of some money in terms of preparing for the league proper.
It's a sketchy situation, right?
Because
You wonder what happened with Deb Marine. I don't know what was the result of that relationship. We just know they seem to be out of it now.
No, the Deb Marine situation was just the contract came to its natural conclusion. So when a contract comes to a natural conclusion, people must
Let's see if we can move together.
I think they delayed in terms of trying to sort of renegotiate a new contract or an extension. I don't think they were smart enough to think forward and say, look, let's already, by the last year, let's already sit down with Deb Marine and ask them, are we going to renew or we are not going to renew, so that we know already before the season ends.
Yes.
Unfortunately, they waited until the season ended and then they tried to negotiate, but that was a bit late.
And of course, Deb Marine is very supportive of Namibian sport. You know, they are invested in different sport codes as well. So, you know, their timelines are also going to be limited to a point. And of course, their financial year, there's all these things to consider.
There's all these things to consider. I think the blame should lie strictly with the NFA. They were not proactive enough. In these things, you need to be proactive. I mean, when any other country, South African Premier League, when DSTV was leaving, we already knew 6 months before that DSTV will be leaving. And companies already were lining up and also strategizing to say, do we go in there? Is it a safe space for us to go? If the NFA had done that, they knew that the contract was 3 years. And they knew that you have done the first year, the second year, and now this is the third year.
They had to think forward.
They could have said, okay, at the beginning of the third year, guys, the contract is coming to an end. Can we sit down? Are we going to continue this relationship or not?
But
they didn't do that.
Me, unlike the NFA, I think forward. And I don't want you to get hungry on the show. So I'm going to send you over to Kariiue to get some brine going. And thank you so much for that essential information. Do keep in mind that we're all hoping that the Premier League starts as soon as possible. And these are some of the stalling factors. And we have to talk about it. Marco Ndlovu is going to join What's Cooking's Kariiue.
Good day, viewers. So you guys have been wondering what new face is this at the Braai Corner. So my name is Kariiue and I'm joining you guys all the way from What's Cooking. I'm taking a little bit of a visit as Patricia is on another visit as well. You guys will find out about her visit. But for now, let's welcome our guest, Mr. Ndlovu, a sport journalist for 17 years. So Mr. Ndlovu, please tell us about yourself, introduce yourself to the viewers a bit.
Okay, my name is Marco Ndlovu. I've been a sports journalist for the past 17 years. I started off on radio, Kariiue Community Radio, and then I went on to Base FM, and then I moved on to the Namibia Press Agency in 2016. With Base FM, I started off at, I think it was in 2008, 2009, thereabout, and then I went to Namibia Press Agency in 2016 until 2023. Then in 2023 and 2024, I was working for New Era newspaper. And then I've also done stuff on TV for the NBC. I'm also a podcaster. I have a podcast called Game Time with Marco. It's a football podcast. It's been going on for the past, I think, 1.5 years.
Okay, Mr. Ndlovu. So I'm not putting you at a braai today. I'm testing your burger assembling skills.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So we need to assemble burgers.
Okay.
And I don't use normal burger buns, so you can see, but we can assemble your burger as you like.
Okay.
That's the nice part of it.
All right.
So you can assemble yours here.
Is it possible I can wash my hands first? Because I don't know where they
Just right here. So as you wash your hands, tell us a bit about why journalism.
Well, I think when I was growing up, I used to talk a lot. My parents say I was very talkative. And when I grew up also, I fell in love with radio at a very young age. I remember, I think on my 13th birthday, I was asked what should they get for me? And I said, buy me a radio. So yeah, that's when I fell in love with radio. And from there, it graduated to journalism, which is why I pursued a career in journalism.
Okay.
And I've also done a bit of some part-time lecturing at the College of the Arts. I was a lecturer for radio production at the College of the Arts for about 10 years. Yeah, so yeah, that's where the passion came from, basically listening to radio and falling in love with radio at a young age.
Okay, so we got into your football career, we got into your radio career. Tell us a bit about your kitchen era. Do you cook? We should test your cooking skills since we're in the kitchen.
I do cook. So I'm a single parent. I stay with my son. He's turning 15 in November. So I'm forced to cook most of the time because I think he doesn't know how to cook. His cooking skills are way better than mine. I'm not a good chef, but I can whip up a basic meal. I can feed you. Basically, I can feed you.
Okay. So tell us one of your go-to meals that you prepare in the kitchen. As you're in the kitchen a bit, tell us what is your Beyonce meal? See, you got me by the pap and stew. So why specifically pap and stew?
I think for me it's the easiest to prepare. I've mastered the art of making it. It's easy for me to just I think it's the easiest for me, and it's my son loves it, so it also works in my favor that I get to cook what he likes.
Okay, so talking about your life, you spoke about your son. How does your son influence your life as a sports journalist?
I think he inspires me a lot. When I look at him, I see a younger version of me, but an upgraded version. If I'm 2.0, I think he's 7.0. So I see an upgraded version of myself in him. He's lucky. He's growing up in this era where things have changed so much. There's so much technology. There's so much. A lot of things have changed from the way I grew up. For example, I grew up with my mother. I was raised by a mother. I'm a mama's boy, and he's a father's boy because I raised him basically since he was, I think, 3 or 4.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a challenge, but it's a good challenge that I've accepted, and it's been a good challenge for me.
Okay, that is amazing hearing about your life, about your son. So I think it's time we head over where you go taste your burger a bit and tell us how it was making a burger and how it tastes.
Okay.
It is time for JSB Bet with the best, and we are joined by the one and only Jevon. We call him the football prophet. Wilson, how's it going, brother?
Going well, but not too well.
Not too well.
Profitable last weekend with the predictions over there. Canelo lost, United obviously lost, and we went against the mighty South Africa, the Bokke.
Yes.
The world champions, how can you go against them?
No, I mean, to be fair, looking at the previous week, you'd have had a little bit of hope, but of course, Rassi switched things up with regards to that. Manchester United, what did you have? What was your prediction for last week?
Yeah, look, we actually thought that we could come out of the Etihad with a positive result there. It was not to be. It was a dominant game from City. Disappointing from our side. A couple of half chances there with Buemos or in the second half, which Donnarumma saved. But yeah, disappointing. It hurts not to come up here to the studio and wear my United shirt. But hopefully with this weekend, Chelsea at Old Trafford, we can perhaps turn that around.
All right. I mean, of course, it seems right now is a crucial time to turn things around, not just for the club, for the coach. It's getting to that time where the owners start getting itchy, and those words which start with F and end with D start becoming a little more potent in their head. So how crucial is this for Amarim's career? If you guys get a hectic loss against Chelsea, do you think that he's going to be fired?
I think his time is up. I think he'll be sacked Monday morning if we don't get that result, especially, as I said, at home. Chelsea coming off a 3-1 loss against Bayern Munich.
They're going to be motivated.
Bavaria. So perhaps they're wounded. And also, going to Germany, traveling, that could also affect the team in terms of fatigue. So hopefully it's in our favor. We have a whole week off to prepare for that match.
Yes.
So yeah, Amorim needs to come. He needs to select the right players for that match, and we need to collect all 3 points.
All right. And as you know, game of the week is going to be Arsenal versus Manchester City. Something else that might work on in Arsenal's favor is Manchester City's Champions League game being so far out in the week, and then they face Arsenal on Sunday, which is adversely what happened to Arsenal last year, where they had a game on Thursday and had to face Manchester City on the Sunday. Of course, Arsenal showing some good depth, which was needed. You don't always want to pull that card, but you want to be able to pull it whenever you know what I mean, whenever
correct.
you need to. So Martinelli scoring, Trossard scoring, both of them assisting each other. What are your thoughts on the game of the week?
Look, if you look at you guys' depth, as you mentioned there, I think Arsenal have a very stronger side, obviously, this season. And if you put a line through the Man United Manchester derby game, City haven't been that convincing thus far this season. I mean, coming off before the international break, 2 losses against Spurs and Brighton, respectively. There's still a question mark behind them. So I think this is a good test.
Speaking of question marks, all of Liverpool's goals in the last couple of matches the winning goals have come from the 88th minute and above. Is survival a sustainable strategy? Because are they, showcasing the strength we'd expect from the Premier League holders?
I mean, they're the champions, and that's what champions do. They find a way to win, right?
But does it feel like they're also in a space, maybe because they're still figuring it out, Isaac is still getting into it, but they find a way to win, but you don't always want to have to find a way to win.
I feel, Ashwyn, I feel like all Premier League sides have strengthened. I think as we go along season by season, I think the gap is getting smaller in terms of strength. I think because the funds are available for all teams now. So as you mentioned there, they struggled against Burnley. United also before the international break, when took us a 97th minute penalty, same as Liverpool, late penalty to win that match, and that's the newly promoted Burnley. Exactly. So it just shows you how tough and how difficult it is in the Premier League.
All right. Okay, Jevon, take us through your slips. I'm excited to see what you have for the weekend.
Yeah, both teams to score, as I said, still early in the season. I don't think the defenses are as strong. So we have the Merseyside derby that's kicking us off this Saturday. Both teams to score.
All right.
I think Everton can definitely score a goal there.
I think so.
Same as United against Chelsea later on that afternoon. I think both teams can score. Both defenses aren't that great. As I said early on, Chelsea conceding 3 goals. United, obviously, we have that lapse in defense most of our games. Arsenal City, I do feel both are very attacking. Both teams can most certainly score.
I mean, that one might be a bit of question considering how both teams have got excellent goalkeepers. Man City having possibly the best keeper in the world.
Exactly. It's going to be a good test for both goalies. A couple of bankers there. La Liga, Barcelona, Bundesliga went for Leipzig, Olympique Lyon, and then there's a game between Marseille and PSG, and I think that'll also be both teams to score. So 19 odds, $50 gives you about 1,000 something. So I think that's decent.
All right, I think so too. And I mean, this is a reasonable way to go through to it. I do also expect both teams to score between Chelsea and Manchester United. And tell you what, I think Manchester United takes this one. I didn't like what I saw from Chelsea. You know what I mean? Own goal aside, I'm sure they love to they maybe they're a charity club now. They like to donate a goal now and then. But I'm not confident in them, and I think Manchester United might just now have its way back into the race. Maybe not the race for the championship, but at least the race to survive. All right, so that's been JSB Bet with the best. We hope you took the best advice from the person himself who understands the game in more ways than one. It was a rough week last weekend, but this coming weekend, everything could change. One thing about In the Mix Africa, we never miss out on an opportunity to celebrate African excellence. And it was in pure display at the World Athletics Championships as Faith Kipyegon got her 4th title. This lady can't stop bagging the gold medals. Here was her interview after that run in the 1,500 meters.
Faith, why did you decide to run the race that way?
Sorry?
Why did you decide to run the race that way?
I even don't know, but I just want to thank God, I don't know where to start and finish, but I want to thank God that I've managed to win my title for the 4th time. And this was my dream, just to defend my title in the 1500 for the fourth time, and just keep making history.
Faith, you had Jess Hull on your shoulder the whole race. How much of a threat was she?
To be honest, I knew Jessica is a strong athlete, and also the rest of the athletes was very strong. And this is championship. This is anybody race. So I knew after crossing 62 in the 400, I knew I have to keep on going because I can't go back to 65 or 66. But I wanted to just keep on pushing and pushing towards the finish line. And I'm so happy that my tactics works, and crossing the finish line and seeing that I've won, it was a really special moment for me.
And a 1-2 with Dorcas Hawaii, that's also special.
Yeah, it was really special, to see my teammates being on the podium is so special because I knew the three of us, we can do, we can do magic because, winning a gold medal, silver and bronze was possible because we were all three of us there. And I knew this is World Championship and it's anybody's race. So I was so happy to see my fellow Kenyans on my back.
Last time you flew to Tokyo, it was decided and now a lot of spectators to come in.
I was so happy, to be back in Tokyo and meet with the spectators was so amazing thing because 2021 was really silent because of COVID, but we were really happy today that, fans came out to cheer us up and it was really amazing.
At first, we seem to be having a very good effect on the team with the way. Are there others you also giving that good effect?
To be honest, we really worked as a team today, and that was our biggest goal. To work as a team and see what was possible after finish line. Championship is always funny, but we really thank God that we worked as a team and our tactics worked.
You said many times your daughter is your biggest inspiration.
Absolutely, yes. My daughter is big.
When was the last time you were in contact before this race?
Today before she was going to school, she told me, when are you going to get the medal? And I told her today. So I was so happy that when she was coming back from school, I was on the starting line and she could cheer me up. So I was happy to know that my daughter was watching me back at home.
Shannon Fraser-Price mentioned that her boy is her hardest critic. Is something that is similar with your daughter?
Sorry?
Shannon Fraser-Price said that her little boy is her hardest critic. What can you say about that, about your daughter?
No, my daughter, for me, I would say my daughter is inspiration to me. She just inspired me a lot to keep on going, to keep on pushing towards, great achievements, and I'm so happy for her.
Faith, 4 titles, what next?
I don't know, but just to be on the semis on that day for the 5,000 and just enjoy the race. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We are back. This is In the Mix Africa. Sitting with Marco Ndlovu, sports journalist, and he broke down what's happening with regards to African stars trying to get their hands on that spot in the Africa Champions League. They're trying to get to the next stage of that competition. And of course, we spoke about what's happening with the delay of the start of the Namibia Premier League. We have to talk about these things because we care about football. And at some point we'll get tired of watching the Arsenals and the Manchesters and stuff, and we want to just see our guys. We want to see the Chula Chulas, we want to see African stars, we want to see Ogos Valley. But speaking of the UK, we can't ignore it is the biggest league in the world. First of all, what is your English Premier League team?
Well, I'm a Manchester United fan.
I could tell from the way he breathed in, from the way he inhaled.
Yeah, it's been a rough 3-4 years
Yes.
for Manchester United, and I think it's the club really needs a heart surgery. They need to look into themselves. If it means the current owners sell to somebody else, I think that's the way to go. It should be that way.
Because it's starting to feel like it's systemic, right?
Yeah,
Players are leaving Manchester United. Onana had a decent game, first game in Turkey. Holyun scored at Napoli. Anthony is basically a cult figure.
Betis, they even launched sort of a clothing line.
A clothing line.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I think if initially it was the owners, and then it went into the players. Now it's with the coaches.
Yes.
And I think the club really needs a heart surgery. It needs somebody to come in there. CEOs will come in and change a lot of things, and really take the club to the next level.
All right. So, any predictions? Who do you think finishes top of the table end of the year, end of the season?
I think at the end of the season, Liverpool are top right favourites, and then you have Arsenal coming through. They've really bought well this season. I think Michael Arteta has really strengthened his team, especially with the Chorake's signing.
Yes.
I think that was the best signing he has ever done for us now.
All right.
They needed somebody to score goals, and they've got that person. And then maybe Manchester City and Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Yeah, those four teams. And don't rule out Newcastle as well. They've done well. So I think those 4 or 5 teams are the ones that I'm looking forward to watching.
All right. Now, something I was looking forward to was tasting the food straight from What's Cooking on NTV, DSTV 25, GoTV 25, 1up2.com. That's every Sunday at 7:30, Kari. Every Sunday at 7:30, Kari is doing the cooking. So what do we have here?
We have my version of a burger. I didn't want to give you guys a vegetarian burger because I knew I would get a lot. In honor of Heritage Week, I give you guys a burger with meat. So it's a messy burger. You guys can enjoy diving.
All right. Thank you very much, Kariiue. You gave us a burger with meat.
So the name is Messy Burger?
Yes.
Okay. So this is called what?
A messy burger. Because it's messy because of the sauce and everything.
Okay, all right. Okay, that's very nice. That's very creative. This is why you host a show that has to do with cooking. Thank you again for joining us on In the Mix Africa. What's your football team, Kari?
I'm a Manchester City fan.
Oh my goodness. I can never get an Arsenal fan on this show, whether it is a
If
guest.
she had told me before we went there, I wasn't going to go stay.
You weren't going to go and cook. So you know what, we should actually really call this burger the Manchester Derby. Without a doubt. So your prediction are like that with regards to please do dig in with regards to the EPL. Namibian Premier League comes back. It's hard to tell right now, like you said. We're still going to figure out what happens in the transfer period once it comes through.
Yes.
But who do you think takes it if we're going into the next season? Is it another African Stars strong run? Is Ongos finally going to be able to crack that mantle, or is Chula going to be as potent as his support?
No, look, I think with the way the African Stars and young African have bought players, I think those two teams are the ones that are going to be the front runners to win the league. I'm also looking at Ongos. If they sign good players and they get a different coach with a different system, then they will definitely challenge.
Okay, so you don't have faith in the Ongos coach?
No, I don't have faith in him. I think he's been given a chance. He has given a good squad, but unfortunately he didn't perform last season. And football is a game of results.
Yes.
If you don't produce, then you have to go. They have to show you the door.
Do you think?
I think it's high time they should do that.
Coming back to being a Manchester supporter, Amarim, if it's a bad loss against Chelsea,
he should have gone last weekend.
He should have gone last weekend. Yes. This is In the Mix Africa. We've been joined by sports journalist Marco Ndlovu as he's been giving us all the information with regards to local football as well as international football. Kari swinging in from What's Cooking. My name is Ashwyn. Cheers.